working on hopefully changing out that piece of shit rear end today on Sloan's Garage. Alright, got the car on jack stands. So what I'm replacing is this 10 bolt. I thought it was the 7.5. Turns out it's the later model 7 5/8 ring, which is probably why the mini spool didn't fit that well. But it was the same spline axles, so it went in. It was just really loose. So maybe the carrier's slightly different on these slightly bigger rear ends. But so you can probably see, like, the front pinion seal or something blew out because it just dumping oil everywhere. And the mini spool doesn't, I mean, it keeps the tires locked, but there's a lot that's like a quarter rotation of just like play. And I don't know if like the axles are twisted and that's why there's lots of slump, or if it's just because I have the wrong mini spool. But so I'm going to, I have an 8.8. I'm hoping to replace this. It's like 3 inches narrower. So I measured, if I use these same tire or these same wheels, I have 3 inches from the tire to the tub or whatever you'd want to call it, and the same on the other side. So with a different wheel I'll probably have to get, plus it's a different bolt pattern, so I'll have to get a different wheel anyways, different offset of wheel. I'm pretty sure I can still use it, and it's, from what the tag says on it, it's got 373s and a limited slip, which will be better than these 342s for drag racing, at least. Make it rev a little more on normal daily driving. But so I'm gonna start by pulling this rear end out, so I'll have to undo the emergency brake cable, the brake lines, all the suspension stuff tied to it, and yeah, and it'll come out. So I'm gonna start working on that, and yeah. Talk about no shit moment. I was working this rear end out, and I undid the shocks, and I undid, can't remember what this is technically called, but it keeps the axle from axle wrapping. It bolts to the front of the pumpkin. Well, as soon as I undid that, the axle lunged, I think, up. Yeah, up. And then this spring was borderline about ready to shoot out at me. And so I grabbed the jack, I dropped it on the jack stands and put it at the rearmost part of the rear end where it would kick the pinion down to compress those springs back up. But yeah, you gotta be careful, because these guys have fucking tons of stored energy in them, and they can shoot out at you. But that was my pucker moment of the day. Scared the shit out of me a little bit. We got that rear end out, and I got the other one shoved under, this one being narrower. I got it not dead center, but like probably within an inch. It needs to really come an inch to the right, but it's looking not too bad. I'll have to run a different offset of wheel, because tire's gonna contact the tub. But other than that, actually looking kind of doable. Different set of wheels, or I could run a spacer, make it real easy. But I'm gonna be eventually wanting to actually go really fast on this car and put down quite a bit of power, so wheel spacers aren't really the safest thing to do, but for the time being I might buy a set just to get it under the car. But yeah, that was the check-in. It's looking pretty promising, looking like I can actually use this rear end. I was borderline wondering if I couldn't, because when I was measuring it and whatnot, but it's looking pretty good. Well, it doesn't look that great, but I finally got all the brackets welded on, and I just finished painting it. So it doesn't look bad because it's painted, but if you look at some of the welds, they're questionable at best. But it'll fuck on. It's still wet. But after it dries, I'm gonna throw it in and make it a roller again. That'll do. Well, this isn't the way I was hoping to end this episode, but I'll be honest, kind of fucked up. I think where I went wrong was I didn't have the rear end at like right height when I was measuring stuff and like mocking up brackets, and none of this stuff's adjustable. It's all the stock shit. So I think that's where I went wrong. But so you can see this is not centered in the wheel well at all now that it's not at right height, but it's close. On top of this tire sticks out way more than the other one, and if you look at it, it looks like it's at an angle, so it means the rear end is, I think, pivoted in there a little sideways. So I fucked up on that too. And then yeah, so I tried cutting the brackets off the old rear end and making it work, and kind of failed. But I don't know what I'm going to do now. If I'm going to just buy a bracket kit, start over, or just go get another 3rd gen rear end to throw under it to make it a roller for now. But for now, it's sitting on jack stands. Till next time, keep between the dishes.